Welcome, everyone. It seems odd calling it the second monthly meeting of the Council for the Township of Admaston, Bromley, as it is the inaugural meeting. So it is the first meeting of a four-year term. So welcome, certainly to everyone here. I would invite everyone present, as we do at all of our council meetings, to join with me in the observation of a moment of silence to open our meeting this evening. Thank you. With that, we are going to move directly into the council members' oaths of office, and I will turn the floor over to CAO Jennifer Charkavy. Please, Ms. Charkavy.
Okay, thank you. As I call you up, you will have your oath to read and then to sign. I do have 2 copies, one for you to take home and one for us to keep. You will be seeing me move back and forth because I am going to take a picture for our records, or if you'd like one as well of you reading the oath. And we are going to start with Angela Field.
And do turn on the mic.
Oh, yes.
I, Angela Field, having been elected or appointed to the office of councillor in the municipality of the Township of Admaston, Bromley, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Here, Angela, I'll get another one.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't want to cough on
You're welcome. Thank you. That's okay. Keith Gourley.
I, Keith Gourley, having been elected or appointed to office of councillor in the municipality Township of Admaston, Bromley, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Brian Hamilton.
I, Brian Hamilton, have been elected or appointed to the office of councillor in the municipality of the Township of Admaston, Bromley. Do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any inappropriate manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, and I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing that it to be true and knowing that it is in the same force and effect as made under oath. Which one? Okay.
Kevin Legree.
I, Kevin Legree, having been elected or appointed to the office of councillor in the municipality of the Township of Admaston, Bromley, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, and I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is the same force and effect as if made under oath. Thank you.
Michael Donahue.
I, Michael Donahue, having been elected to the office of mayor in the municipality of the Township of Admaston, Bromley, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, and I make this solemn promise and declaration, conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath. Please join with me in welcoming the new council for the next four-year term for the municipality of Admaston Bromley. I wish first to extend a warm welcome to everyone here tonight. It's gratifying to have you joining with us on this auspicious evening. You bear witness to the peaceful transition of power, a transition that should be celebrated. The townships that would at the turn of the millennium amalgamate into Admaston Bromley have sworn in council since before Canada was founded. Scores of individual faces have sat at this table or tables like it, dedicated to the safety and prosperity of their and our community. Though faces change, the council endures. It behooves me tonight to first express deep gratitude to those faces that have now moved into the historical record. Councillors Bob Hall and Mike Quilty have, with dedication and distinction, served our community for 8 years, the last 3 amidst an incredibly dynamic environment. Though every council in its day dealt with particular challenges, only those councils at the time of the Spanish flu in 1918 and the council now ending were confronted with a global pandemic. Councillor Robert Dick's commitment to this community is otherworldly. Bob was first elected in 1997 and has worked tirelessly for a quarter of a century toward the improvement of our community. Perhaps 1997 doesn't elicit particular memories, but I'd suggest it was another world. Both the internet and cellular telephone technology were in their infancy. It's my distinct pleasure tonight to introduce and congratulate your Admaston Bromley Township Council for the next 4 years. Councillors Angela Field, Keith Gorley, and Brian Hamilton will bring a fresh perspective and, I've no doubt, a renewal and reinvigoration of council. Congratulations also to Councillor Legree, who joins me in returning for a 3rd term, providing continuity and stability as the new members find their footing. To our new colleagues, you're about to go through an intense orientation while at the same time getting down to your governance role, akin to being thrown into the deep end. I encourage you to reach out to myself, Councillor Legree, or senior staff as resources to diminish the learning curve. I extend deep appreciation as well to Jack Kelly, Campbell Krogi, and Ken Keel for their passionate participation in this year's election. The democratic process is best served when there is choice. You may have at one time or another heard that Admaston Bromley has been considered one of the most boring administrations in the county of Renfrew. Governing is often tedious, incremental, deluged with copious amounts of information. We're constantly exhorted to use common sense. This, though, is not exciting and rarely elicits public or media attention. Decency doesn't drive clicks or cause ink to spill. If you've a desire to change the world, or at least our small corner of it, hear. So have I. However, this can only be achieved through building consensus and gaining support from your fellow councillors. It often seems we're encouraged to believe good policy can only be achieved through a kind of rhetorical mortal combat that seeks complete victory, that compromises weakness. In my 8 years as mayor, there have been myriad issues and questions that elicited a vigorous debate around this table. Universally, they've been respectful disagreements and unstated acknowledgement by each member that these spring from the other's passion for our community. When a matter is decided, it is accepted. Perhaps legislative assemblies everywhere would be better served by a little more boring. As we begin a new mandate, we must briefly look back before looking forward. In the last 4 years, the township has had several major road rehabilitation projects, among them the South McNaughton Road, Rice Line, Dillabo Road, and Campbell Line, and many projects of lesser scope. We've completed a renewal of the Township Asset Management Plan and established formal road agreements with neighbouring municipalities. In all infrastructure efforts, we've leveraged the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Fund, and the Canada Community Building Fund, which have been increasing on an annual basis. However, we've borne the steady erosion of the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund, the single largest non-specific funding provided by the province. In 2014, this fund provided just under $600,000, or 40% of our own use taxation. For this year, it's fallen to $451,000, or just under 18.5% of township taxation. It's dropping a further $11,000 for next year. We've continued to encounter challenges in our initiative to expand the footprint at the Osceola landfill. However, we remain confident in a positive outcome. We've undertaken as well several significant long-term initiatives. As noted above, we've completed a thorough review and update to the asset management plan, identifying a solid blueprint for the ongoing rehabilitation and repair required on both linear assets, roads, and real property assets, buildings. The municipal employment environment remains very dynamic and has compelled Admaston Bromley to undertake a comprehensive review of township human resource needs, along with a necessary update to our organizational structure. We've completed this process and have begun implementing the recommendations to ensure the township continues to meet the level of service demanded by residents and ratepayers. Transparency and accountability were recurring themes throughout this year's election. I'm very pleased that through provincial modernization funding, the township has now joined the digital age. The Chamber is now fully equipped, as you can see, to facilitate staff to engage in the virtual realm across the province, increase access to training, and provide for virtual participation at meetings of council. Staff are currently undergoing training to provide live streaming of meetings and established a channel for replaying recordings at later dates. Turning now to this term of council, there's much to both begin and build upon. Some might find our very full agenda daunting. I've no reservations that the council before you is energized by it. Careful stewardship of the public purse is always paramount, and I believe it testament that not a single question regarding taxes was raised at either all candidates' meetings. As Admaston Bromley is focused on bringing our capital assets up to date, we've continued to keep taxes low in the bottom third of municipalities in the county of Renfrew. We've also taken a disciplined approach to maintaining appropriate reserve funds and utilized extremely low interest rates to debt finance long-term capital investments. In addition, the township has had significant real growth last year, and we will this year surpass that. We're committed to maintain and rehabilitate our road network of 300 kilometres according to the renewed asset management plan and adhering to our disciplined capital replacement schedule. We will, during this term of council, complete the construction of the new bays to house the fire trucks at the Douglas Fire Station. We will leave no stone unturned in seeking funding streams from other sources than the municipal levy. Formalized collaboration with other municipalities will be critical over the next 4 years, as the provincial government has clearly signaled their desire for the municipal sector to find efficiencies through modernization and innovation. We took the first steps with the procurement of waste site monitoring in concert with Whitewater Township, finding substantial savings. Several opportunities identified in the Local Efficiency Group, or LEG, are being pursued. This LEG is comprised of the 8 municipalities in the southeast of Renfrew County. Engagement with the County of Renfrew will also be vital through access to planning or human resource expertise. Engagement through the county's participation in Eastern Ontario Regional Network is crucial in expanding broadband and cellular coverage in our township. In 2016, the CRTC chairman declared broadband internet a basic service and that all Canadians must have access to at least 50 megabits per second. I could not more agree as our digital economy and increasingly society continues to grow exponentially. The Eastern Ontario Broadband Network, or EORN, was initiated in 2010 and delivered a $170 million project funded by municipal, provincial, and federal governments in collaboration with private sector internet providers. In 2018, EORN initiated a cell gap analysis in the region with the goal of closing these gaps utilizing this same successful P3 model from 2010. This culminated in the partnering in March 2021 with Rogers Communications to deliver a $300 million project across Eastern Ontario. This included the upfitting of current Rogers infrastructure and the installation of new infrastructure. In Admaston Bromley, there are 3 new sites in development at Shamrock, at Highway 60 near Haley Road, and at Patterson Road north of McPeak. This will dramatically increase cellular coverage and wireless broadband connectivity. It's my intention to bring forward for Council's consideration the engagement of a qualified individual to identify further opportunities to extend broadband into our community. Located within what was once known as the Champlain-Lynn Western Subregion, we've been identified as an underserviced area for family physicians. The disparity with other subregions is jarring, as we have 67 doctors per 100,000 population versus a Lynn-wide or Eastern Ontario average of 113 per 100,000. Collaboration has been effective in recruiting family physicians. Admaston Bromley has partnered with Greater Madawaska, Horton, and the town of Renfrew to recruit physicians to our area since 2010. And the Renfrew and Area Health Services Village has met its goal of 14 new recruits. The need, however, remains acute, and the path forward is much more challenging. The Renfrew Industrial Commission was a major funding partner to the Health Services Village, but it is now no longer operating. As noted, we remain confident in the initiative to expand the Osceola landfill's active area. The initial intent to expand northward met with significant headwinds from the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks in 2017. Council engaged Cambium Consulting to bring a fresh perspective to the project. In Cambium's engagement with the ministry, a revised proposal to expand southward would reduce the impact to sensitive receptors. The installation of several new monitoring wells and subsequent favorable testing results have diminished ministry concerns. Staff are now engaged with neighboring property owners to provide for contamination attenuation, and I believe an application to expand could be made before the end of next year. Finally, I intend to bring forward for Council's consideration the engagement of professional expertise to facilitate the first Admaston Bromley strategic plan. This will build upon and substantially expand the economic development strategy and plan completed in 2018. While that initiative has been dormant for a variety of reasons, it's imperative that, as with the AMP, a comprehensive blueprint be developed to provide this and future councils with a roadmap to continue the revitalization and reinvigoration of our township. On closing, I must acknowledge the township's outstanding staff, led by CAO Jennifer Charkovy, Public Works Superintendent Steve Wazinski, and Fire Chief Bill McHale. Their dedication and commitment provide the foundation for a productive and successful term of council. Angela, Keith, Brian, Kevin, it's an honor and privilege to serve alongside you. I look forward to the next 4 years, and thank you. Item 6 this evening is the appointment of Deputy Mayor. In discussion with the CAO, in the past, this has been done by secret ballot. It was only done at the beginning of the term. It is my intent, moving through this year, that each of the 4 members occupy the role of Deputy Chair for a one-year period. I think that provides some substantial succession planning. I have been quite clear that this is the final term that I would run for office. So I think it's vital that anyone has that opportunity to occupy the Deputy Mayor's position. So with that, I would open the floor first to seek input from Council if you are satisfied with that direction for the next term of Council. Any comments? Councillor Legree.
I actually agree with that. It's a good idea. Succession planning has been a problem the township's had for a little bit in some of our other departments. So yeah, let's get everybody experienced and trained up to be the chair. I like it.
Thank you. I see no further comments, so in the absence of same, I will take that as support for that notion, for that plan. So with that, I would seek nominations for the first year as Deputy Mayor. Councillor Gourley.
The first year I nominate Kevin Legree.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Legree first. Are you prepared to stand as Deputy Mayor?
I am, thank you.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. If there is no opposition to Councillor Legree occupying the role of Deputy Mayor for the ensuing year, then I will call the vote. All in favor? That is carried. You have cast your first votes. Congratulations. The next...
Sorry. So I've handed out now that they are sworn in as council.
Okay.
I have approval of agenda for Angela. Mr. Councillor Hamilton has the confirming bylaw, and Councillor Gurley has the adjournment.
Okay, so we are going back to, I guess, our template agenda then, and not precisely following this one.
That's right.
Okay.
Just so that we have...
Just throwing a little curve at the mayor for the inaugural meeting. So with that then, so these are written resolutions?
Yes.
So they are seeking, okay.
Yeah. Just their first official ones.
Sure. So I am seeking first a motion to approve the agenda, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Who would have that motion?
Read the whole thing.
Please.
Dated November 17th, 2022. Moved by Angela Field, seconded by Kevin Legree. Be it resolved that council approve the agenda of November 17th, 2022 council meeting.
Thank you. Council, all in favor? That is carried. The next order of business would be to invite any disclosure of pecuniary interest, and if any, the general nature thereof. I cannot conceive that at the inaugural meeting anyone has a particular pecuniary interest. The chair recognizes none. Thank you. Okay, so I guess that's, we haven't, we're not going to do any business, i.e. minutes, et cetera. Okay. We do have guests this evening. I want to welcome all of the guests that have joined us this evening. It is very encouraging to have you out for what is a very auspicious evening as the new term of council begins its 4 years. Matters incidental to any of the above or other business as required. I would invite any at this point. Councillor Hamilton.
Just a technical question. Do we have to continue using our complete names in passing motions, or can we get down to our first surnames only, or what's the normal procedure on motions particularly?
So certainly I think the minutes would bear it out. Typically what we have done is it is moved by councillor, seconded by councillor, all in favor.
But
So it would not be Councillor Brian Hamilton, it would be moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Gourley.
that was just one of the technical things I was wondering. Thanks.
Okay, everybody wants to jump ahead of the orientation meeting. Everybody's
Hey, we
keen.
have motions to pass, and I just heard
Everybody's
Angela reading
keen.
her name, and I said, this doesn't make sense to me, that way, but I just needed to know if there was procedure.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business or other business? I see none. Does someone have a motion for the adoption of the confirmatory bylaw?
Moved by Councillor Hamilton, second by Councillor Gurley, that be it resolved that bylaw 2022-71, being a bylaw to confirm proceedings of the Council of the Township of Admaston Bromley at a meeting held September 17th, 2022, be now numbered, deemed read 3 times and passed.
Thank you. I will also disclose, with respect to the reading of, there was personal approaches as well. One of the councillors in the outgoing council would say duly moved and seconded, but the names were affixed. It is certainly what you would be comfortable with, but the names should be, it should be the signatures of each of the individual councillors that are so moving and seconding. That is the important element. In any event, council, you've heard the resolution. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Finally, this is, do keep in mind that this will be the shortest meeting that you are likely to experience in your 4-year terms. We did come close to this, I think, at the final meeting of the last council, but there was a particular rationale for that, if you will. So, who would have the motion to adjourn this evening? Councillor Gourley.
Duly moved by Councillor Gourley, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Be it resolved that the Thursday, November 17th, 2022 Township of Admaston Bromley Council meeting be adjourned at 7:59 p.m.
Thank you. And with that, council, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. The first one is under our belts. Congratulations.
All right, so